true communication comes from honesty and from honestly opening yourself up to and listening to the people around you.
And it's scary because you have to put yourself out there and you have to say the scary thing in order to have the discussion.
Communication and vulnerability are so intertwined.
Hi, I'm the lesbian remake of Weird Science, Jenny.
And I'm that cereal that lets you eat your own tiny wives made out of marshmallow, Lilly! And this is Lesbianswers.
Have you got LGBT questions? Because we've got Lesbianswers.
What are we talking about today, Jenny?
Today we're talking about communication. And this is inspired by some email questions that we've had through. So we've had a question through from Emma, who says, I need lesbians for help. Since I was young, I've always considered myself to be strictly a lesbian. However, the other day I went to my girlfriend's of 8 months family meal and her cousin, who's male, came on to me and I didn't reject him. I know what I did was wrong, but it felt so right. I feel like I don't know who I am anymore and I'm hoping you can give me some advice on what to do and figure out my sexuality in the process.
Wow,
That's a lot. To address the very easiest part of your question, Emma, the only person who can decide your sexuality is you. If you've identified yourself as a lesbian for most of your life and you're still comfortable with that label and you still feel that label applies, then excellent. Continue to be a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
If you're now considering the delights of other genders, then sure, you can maybe play around with labels until you find one that you're happy with.
It's up to you what feels right. Like, I'm a lesbian, but I was in a long-term relationship with a man and I don't regret that. I'm still happy to use the word lesbian. And go back and rewatch our LGBTQ plus identities episode and see what we say about our identities and see if any of that helped you out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the easiest bit.
It is.
Should we address the elephant in the room?
Yeah. Cheating is bad.
Lesbianswers does not condone cheating.
And I think we as people don't do
And we
that.
as individuals do not condone cheating.
You said you didn't reject him, but that doesn't mean that
Right.
anything happened. However,
Like,
if you feel that you've cheated, then you've probably cheated.
And she does say that she knows what she did was wrong, which suggests that she did something that she's now uncomfortable with. And that discomfort that you're feeling is your mind's way of telling you that you didn't live your values in the most authentic way that you could.
Sometimes there is that weird pressure when someone is coming on to you or flirting with you and you're not actively going along with anything, but you're not directly saying no because you don't think they're being serious, because there's a weird power difference in what's happening in the situation.
Because society teaches girls that it's their job to accommodate everyone, and that makes it really hard to say no.
Especially
even
to
when you
accommodate
want to.
men.
Absolutely. On the other hand, if you're with your girlfriend and you want to be with your girlfriend, then you're with your girlfriend. Please be kind to yourself and be kind to your partner. And if you don't want to be exclusively with your girlfriend anymore, you need to be communicating that with her and not with random
us.
lesbians on the internet.
So we've called this episode Communication because we feel that that's the root of the issue.
Yes.
That there are several levels where communication is not happening as it should ideally.
And communication is really hard.
You have to learn how to communicate effectively with your partners and with people in your lives. And that is entirely different from the way you'll be taught to communicate effectively in the classroom.
And I also think it's not just that you perhaps are not fully communicating with your girlfriend, you're not fully communicating with this young man, you're not fully communicating with yourself.
And saying, what did I want in this scenario? What was I not comfortable with? What was I comfortable with? What would I maybe have done if I was put back in that situation right now? And through that, you might find that actually I was interested in him, and what I'd maybe have wanted to do was to go off and explore that with him, and then maybe I don't feel that I want to be with my girlfriend. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's actually I felt really weirdly pressured, and in retrospect I would have sworn and walked away.
If the labels you're using to describe yourself and your sexuality are holding you back from things that you genuinely want, then they're not working for you, and it's time to find a new label.
I think one of the hardest bits about this will be having to talk to your girlfriend about this, because regardless of what decisions you might make about who you want to be with and what you want to explore, I think is a conversation you need to have with her, because it has already happened.
Yeah.
And she deserves to know, even when it's hard for her to hear and for you to say.
But I would say don't have the discussion where you say, I'm thinking about breaking up with you, unless you're actually willing to go ahead and break up with her. The kindest thing to do is you decide. Do you want to be with her? Do you not want to be with her? If you don't want to be with her, if you don't want to be her girlfriend anymore, that's fine. But you need to talk to her about it. If you do want to be with her, you're going to need to come clean and see if she's willing to work through it.
It's not something you can half-heartedly kind of edge around that, oh, there was this guy and maybe I thought he was cute for a second, because that's not what happened.
On the other hand, I would caution, try not to hurt her.
I don't think it needs to be in-depth, but it does need to cover what actually happened, rather than an easier version of that.
Yeah. If you kissed him, don't say you just flirted. But you don't need to describe what his tongue felt like.
If you're staying with your girlfriend and if she is happy to stay with you, then this is someone that you're going to meet. So at some point you're going to have that hard conversation of, hey, so you remember last time when X happened? That's not happening again.
Mm-hmm. And if he's a good person, he'll respect that.
Yeah. Ways to discourage someone from hitting on you. Depending on the situation, I like to go one of two ways. One of my favorite ways, when I know I can do it safely, and this is often when someone's making me uncomfortable online, is to go full force into it. So hard that they get scared.
What?
Someone hits on you and they're like, hey, you look really cute. You're whatever, date me, suck my dick, let's have babies. I go full force into him like, oh, you want to marry me? Oh my god, is it happening? Can I phone my mum? Can I come round? Like, I have a bag ready. I can move in tonight. And
I love you.
they'll call you a bitch, by the way. Just FYI, they will then call you names, and they will never contact you again because you are terrifying to them.
But that's the goal.
That is
aim.
exactly the goal.
Yeah.
But just to warn you, like, you don't get out of this by just them ignoring you. They do have to call you the names first.
Oh, men always need the last fucking word.
But then you're out. The other way is an in-person one, which is to just pretend that they haven't said what they've said and be really friendly and be really upbeat, but completely miss the point of what they're saying. And they're like, hey, would you like to come out for a drink with me? And you're like, oh, I'm really sorry. That's so lovely of you to ask me, but I'm actually going out with my friends tonight. But blah, 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 blah. And you're upbeat and you just pretend that it wasn't an invitation for a date.
That sounds like it would be really effective in certain situations.
Like, this is the thing. In certain situations.
Yeah.
Other unfortunate ways of having to deal with this can involve making up a man.
Yeah. Men who will not take no for an answer will sometimes back off if you say you have a boyfriend. And it's fine to lie to creeps. Telling men that you're gay does not work to stop them.
They can fix you with their magic penis.
But yeah, communication is the key to every relationship, whether it's a business relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family relationship. If you're not communicating your needs, you can't complain that your needs are not getting met.
And I think there's some good tricks on having the slightly more difficult conversations, the ones that you feel awkward about bringing up because they seem a big thing to you, but you're aware that they might not have seemed like a big thing to someone else, or because you worry that that person will then judge you, not like you, be angry that you brought it up.
Conversation is difficult in written media because tone is lost, and tone conveys a significant proportion of meaning. So try to have difficult conversations in person, even though it's more awkward where possible.
And I think if you have to have a conversation like this, it can really help the other person's or the other party's stress levels for you to say the two sentences together of, I need to talk to you about something, and this is the something. So the other part of having those difficult conversations is sometimes making sure that the other person doesn't need to start off that conversation, and checking in with partners and checking in with friends. This can especially be important when you've got friends who you know are bad at communication or bad at reaching out to have that communication. If you know that they're freaking out about the thought of having to be the person to say, hey, can I talk to you about X? I think it can really ease a lot of that pressure to be the other person who goes, hey, how are you doing? Like, I think we're pretty excellent at communicating with each other.
Yeah, even if it's just sending each other stupid texts that say, barreled.
Jimothy. But I like that a lot of it is very little things, like just constantly being like, I like you.
You may have noticed through our videos, but we tell each other we love each other a lot. And a lot considering that we're not dating.
And it does a lot of things. One, fucking awesome to hear that, like, throughout a day.
And also, like, it's a real confidence booster because you're one of my favorite people, and knowing that you love me, that's awesome. Like, that means I must be okay.
Yeah, you're good.
And I don't like anyone, so saying to you that I love you, like...
It's a gold star, essentially.
It's a gold star. Do you think we've answered Emma's question?
I think as much as we can with the info that we have.
Please be kind to yourself and be kind to your girlfriend. But be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're not living with honesty and you're not living with kindness, then nothing is going to happen but pain.
Don't overthink this too much. It doesn't have to be the end of the world.
Don't let the labels you've chosen for yourself hold you back. Just be the most real you that you can be and love yourself. Because we love all of our baby queers.
Yeah. Try to make the decisions that are going to make you happiest and your best self.
Yes.
So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you've got any other questions, you can email us lesbianswers@gmail.com. You can tweet us at lesbianswers. You can also follow us on Instagram and I guess message us there at lesbianswers.
As some people have been doing, which is lovely.
And if you use the tag lesbianswers on pretty much any other social media, we will be watching.
Mm-hmm. So have a great day, make good choices, and we will see you next week for another video. Bye! Why is 6 afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Because 7's a registered 6 offender.
Gross.
I love you.
I love you. Dark.
How dare you?
I know.